Hi, my name is Paul Goyette, and I'm the founder and chief executive officer of Goyette Associates, a law firm in California. We handle a whole bunch of things here, but one of the things we do is trial work and criminal defense work. We've handled a lot of high-profile criminal defense cases. What I'm going to talk about today is an issue that we deal with all the time with our cases in California, and that's whether you can get a fair trial. Whether our clients can get a fair trial, but specifically I'm going to talk about whether George Zimmerman can get a fair trial in Florida or anywhere else arising from his shooting of Trayvon Martin. Let's start with the media coverage of this case. There has been massive, overwhelming national media coverage of this case, and it has been overwhelmingly sympathetic to Trayvon Martin and overwhelmingly critical of George Zimmerman. How does that affect Mr. Zimmerman's ability to get a fair trial? Well, it has a huge impact. There has been a chorus of national celebrities, Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, calling for the prosecution of Zimmerman. There was a petition that was filed where 2 million people signed a petition and requested that Zimmerman be prosecuted. Even President Obama commented that Trayvon Martin would look like his son if he had a son. And think about that for a second. When the President of the United States, arguably the most powerful man in the world, comments on a local criminal action in a state, think of the focus, think of the pressure that develops. Even the media's use of photographs tells a story of an angry Zimmerman who shot an innocent African-American kid because he's a racist or might be a racist. The media coverage has a huge impact and has created this public sentiment that will affect whether Zimmerman can get a fair trial. Now, Florida is not new to controversial, high-profile criminal cases. Just last year, a jury found Casey Anthony not guilty for the alleged murder of her 2-year-old daughter. That case had huge, overwhelming media coverage, just like the Zimmerman case does. Now, the Zimmerman case might be a little more difficult, and the jurors who voted for Casey Anthony to be not guilty have experienced a lot of difficulty. Just after, immediately after they rendered their decision, their identities were outed, and how they voted in that case was released. And many jurors, since that point, have been mercilessly harassed, received death threats, some have been forced into hiding, simply because they voted with their conscience not guilty for Casey Anthony. Now, will that have an effect on the jury pool in the Zimmerman case? I think it probably will. I think it's a big risk and a big undertaking for a juror in the Zimmerman case to hear the evidence objectively. And remember, jurors are sworn by law to objectively evaluate the evidence, to put aside all biases and prejudices, and to fairly evaluate the evidence. Both sides are entitled to a fair trial, the prosecution and the defense, and jurors are sworn to uphold the law in that regard. The problem with jurors in the Zimmerman case is if they're inclined to vote Zimmerman not guilty, if they believe the evidence objectively and fairly shows that he did not commit the crime that he's charged with, will they have the willpower? Will they have the strength to vote not guilty, knowing what the Casey Anthony jurors went through?